everybody, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel, The Groovy Plant Addict. And today I'm gonna make this video specifically on snake plants. Okay, my hair's a mess. I know I need to pin it back, but it's okay. I'm also gonna make videos about Scindaptus pictus exotica as well as Scindaptus pictus argyrius. I also have a video, I don't know, probably be posted before this, but it's of my chia pet, cause yes, we love baby, what up? Anyways, I'm gonna show you guys how I propagate my plant, and I sell them on Etsy when they are rooted, and I'm gonna just propagate some for myself so I don't run out of plants to pick from, okay? Okay, so I hope everyone is having a great day today. That is my light, so when I water stuff at night or whenever I come out and there's no sun a lot, I just put it on because the other one's motion sensor and it turns off a lot. And a lot of times I cut up my plants at night just because it's like shaded, you know? So anyways, we're gonna get to how to propagate a snake plant, how to care for a snake plant, what's the best soil, and the feeding for a snake plant. So as of you guys, I don't know if you know or not, but the snake plant was called a Sansevieria, and in 2018 they were reclassified in the Dracaena family. So yeah, but most of my videos I say Sansevieria just because like that's what it used to be. I know it's technically the wrong genus now, but force of habit, okay? So there are many ways to propagate a snake plant. These are some cuttings I have. You could propagate them in small little leaf cuttings like this, around 4 to 5 inches. You could just cut from the bottoms of the stems. If the stems are rotting, make sure you cut off the rot. You can still propagate it. I had just cut this one off. I cut a couple off because I'm gonna make sure I have some more plants for myself, because I don't want to keep on cutting my plants and not have any plants. From my experience, they take a long time to grow pretty big. I also think that happened because I had a snake plant and I had a pup, and I separated the pup really quick just because I was like, oh my gosh, I want to have a baby snake plant. And I think it grew like super slow because of that reason, because it's like probably like this big, not even the full leaf size, probably like this big. And it's still thriving, but it is growing way more slower. And I feel like if I would have left it on the parent plant, it would have grown way faster. So this is a sign that it could be rotting if it's squishy. I typically would just want to cut that off just for safety. And there's also a cut right here. And personally, I just don't like to propagate something looking like that because it might not turn out super good. The rooting hormone I use is the Take Root from Garden Safe. This one is actually really good, in my opinion. You get this at your nearest Lowe's. That's where I found mine. They're very like small, but they don't really come in can't even talk. They don't really come in super big ones. So I mean, I just get this one. If they do come in super big ones, I'm pretty sure it's for like nurseries. But this is what works for me. And sorry, I have nail polish on my nails. And when I do cut my plants, I make sure my shears or whatever I'm using to cut at that point are clean and sanitized. I clean them with alcohol, rubbing alcohol, not hand sanitizer, because if there's anything wrong with any of my other plants, at least I don't cross-contaminate it and bring something else over. So far, I have not had any pest problems. As far as fungus gnats, they are kind of very annoying, but I have gotten slowly they're getting rid of with mosquito bits. Oh, I just dropped that. I'm slowly getting rid of it with mosquito bits. I'm gonna make a mosquito bit video on how I use them, what different ways you could use them. Mosquito bits are actually very safe to use because it's a natural occurring bacteria. And the reason why that it is the way it is in the packaging is because they have to follow certain protocols. So, okay, so for this, I would dip it and I would leave it to air out for around 3 days. Where I live in California, it dries out pretty fast and it calluses pretty fast. You don't have to put rooting hormone, but I like to because I feel like it gives the plants nutrients, and I have noticed versus putting in water versus putting a rooting hormone, whether it's liquid or powder, it has grown an extensive amount faster. I'm also going to be going to Lowe's later, so I'm probably going to make another video on that because my other video is super long. Yes. Okay, so right here, I got my gardening shears at Target because they had like a pack of like 3 different gardening tools for like $15. And I just thought the packaging was so cute, so I ended up buying it. So I will plant this. Again, I need to wait for it to callus, or you can put rooting hormone. Typically, I put rooting hormone, let it callus. And since it's callusing, it might be harder to see the rooting hormone. So normally I wait like 4 days. I like to pot them in soil. The only time I do my water propagations is specifically for when people want to buy propagations, like stems off of me. But normally I do like to pot them in soil just because even though you can't see what's happening, I have found out that I had one in a propagating little thing, and I had it with water and rooting hormone, and it took roots. But the one that I was in soil with rooting hormone and water poured through it and letting it air out, in my opinion, it did grow a lot faster. The root system was way bigger too. And I found out because I took out the stuff from the roots. So basically I took everything out of the soil, and I was like, wow, that root system was very extensive. So after that happened, I ended up getting a trough. And I've been planting them in there, and it started raining a lot. This was like a month or 2 or 3 ago. It started raining a lot, and a lot of them, they were not doing well, so I put them in water, and the tray had like fungus gnats. I don't want to throw out all the soil, so I'm treating the soil. First, I let it dry out. That didn't really do anything because it started raining again. Now I put mosquito bits, run water through it. I'm gonna let it dry out, and then I'm also gonna treat it with hydrogen peroxide, just because I personally feel like I don't like throwing away soil. If it was contaminated with like another virus or like something else, I wouldn't have a problem throwing it out. But since it's just fungus gnats, and fungus gnats is not going to harm the soil, it's just not really good for the plant. I'm going to treat the soil until the fungus gnats are completely gone. I will probably make a video on that and how I mix my soils. So I'm going to Lowe's today to get that. So this is one of my Sensliverias, Dracaena snake plant. And you could cut them like that. And as long as you plant them like that, they're perfectly fine. I think I'm gonna have them cut big just because I feel like when it has more leaf surface area, it's gonna grow faster just because it'll photosynthesize faster. So technically it should grow faster. With this one, I'm doing the same thing as well. I have some other plant that I will be cutting up in a little bit because I have a couple of snake plants. Okay, so now I'm gonna cut a little bit of this one up. I'm not gonna cut so much leaves up, but I also have never cut from this pot, and I do like cutting from at least each of my pots. Even if I'm not taking it to propagate, it does help the plant produce more growth. I think I'm gonna cut this one. So I just go as close, this is a good leaf. I go as close to the base as possible. Let me see. So I cut half of it. I just don't want to cut any leaf around it. Sorry. As long as I don't cut off the leaves around it too much. Like if I were to accidentally nick it, it'd be perfectly fine. But to cut it off, I'd probably just end up having to cut off the other leaf. And since I don't like how the cut is, I'm just gonna be cutting off the bottom. Remember, snake plants, or whatever you call them, mother-in-law's tongue, they are like succulent, like with thick leaves. Thick leaves typically retain more water. I'm just gonna leave it like this, just because since there's a little like stripe of like, it's like a little defected, I guess you could say. I'll probably get more better just doing this entire plant than cutting it. If I cut it right here, I would not grow this one right here. So I'm going to put rooting powder on all of these, and then I'm going to plant them into pots with soil. Typically, I plant a couple of these in one pot, just so when the plant comes out, it pushes out growth and it's really full. Because normally on my propagations, I normally get like 2 babies coming out per plant. And if I want like something full like what I just showed you, I need at least 2 to 3 leaves, in my opinion, because I feel like not every time they push out 2 growths. Okay, so for my pots, I have a very airy mixture. This is just general purpose potting mix, and I have perlite and I have bigger rocks in here, and the potting mix also has like twigs in there. Typically I like my pots to have very airy soil. Even for my other pots like that are requiring more water, I still use a very airy mixture. The only thing I do different is I'll have them in like a plastic pot versus a clay pot. So I'm taking the leaf and I'm just burying it. So another way you could propagate this is literally just divide the stem on the bottom, which is you would literally just take the plant, and if you have 3 shoots like I have in my other plant, you would just divide that into 3 or 2 or however you want to divide it. Another way is just to take the pups out. Personally, I would take the pups out when they are pretty growing extensive. I like to do cuttings, even though it takes a long time, like it's time consuming. Like you'll probably notice roots in around a month. I find that it's a little more effective in my opinion, but that's just because I like seeing my plants grow, and I could duplicate a plant with like 3 plants out of a stem. So in my opinion, that's how I get more, even though it does take a little bit more time. So typically the way I water my snake plants is I water them all the way through, making sure they have a drainage hole, because you do not want your... Why are you crying? You do not want your plant to get root rot. You want to say hi? Come here. Want to say hi? She wants to say hi, you guys. My baby, huh? My baby? This is my little baby. Mwah. Okay, so I just water them and then I let them dry out 110%. Typically, I don't let the leaves droop if they're like really not watered. Eventually the leaves will start flopping over, and I do not do that. I literally just touch the soil, and if it's dry all the way, I water it. Typically, even in the cold, I notice they take about a week or a week and a half to like 2 weeks to fully dry out. Normally, I on average just water them once every 2 weeks, because I like to let them dry out, because they're very drought tolerant plants. Now, you do not want to suffocate the plant and just not water it at all. Everything needs water to live. So that's how I do it. I like to use terracotta pots just because they allow the plant to have more air throughout the pot. I know this leaf right here is literally rot, and that happened because it was raining. I did not move the pot. Now you can see this green part right here has a shoot coming out, which will be a pup. And since I know it's rotting, I could assume that possibly some of the roots could be rotting as well. So I'm literally not gonna touch that for a while, just because I want to, like, just in case if the roots are very rotted. Yeah, but the plant is bouncing back very good. Just make sure you do not overwater it, and make sure it's in a pot with drainage holes. You never want your plant sitting like that. I will also give you an update on my propagations as well. And thank you again for watching Groovy Plant Addict. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Follow my social media down below. And go check out my Etsy shop. Thank you. Bye.